very different election and a very different reaction today in the eastern city of Donetsk. Yesterday, pro-Russia separatists blocked polling stations and burned election equipment in the streets. Today, armed separatists seized the airport in Donetsk. Pádraig Belton is there for us. Pádraig, bring us up to date.
Well, it may have been an attempt to stop Poroshenko from travelling here. He had said his first trip as president would be to the rest of the east. The regional airport, where the bulk of the fighting took place today, 10 kilometres out of town. It was rebuilt at a very different age for the Euro 2012 football championships, costing 266 million to the state to build. Gunfire erupted there at 3 a.m., hours after Poroshenko said at a news conference that he would not negotiate with terrorists in the east. The military guarding the airstrip gave an ultimatum to the separatists to lay down their arms by 1 in the afternoon. The gunmen didn't comply, were joined by 3 buses with 50 more rebels, and the military came with an airstrike in response with 2 Sukhoi fighter jets and 3 Ukrainian Mil-24 helicopter gunships, one of which destroyed the insurgents' anti-aircraft gun. There was then an Ukrainian army offensive at 3 p.m., pushing the separatists south into a residential area a quarter mile to the central rail station, very much in the centre of town here. One civilian seems to have been killed in crossfire by the rail station, and the insurgents have taken control of this in the past hour. The separatists say the group are the East Battalion, which took part in clashes with Ukrainian forces on Friday. I was able to speak with them over the weekend. They included some Chechens. They are not only local, they're not only really ethnically from Russia. A lot of these people have seen fighting in other peripheral wars to Russia before.
So who is now actually in control of the airport?
The rebels are in the terminal. The rest of the airport area is controlled by the Ukrainian National Guard. And there is a group of rebels who are also in control of the central rail station.
It's interesting that Ukraine deployed troops despite Russia's demand that Kiev scale back their military response there.
Yes. Poroshenko has announced that he will not be terminating the anti-terrorist operation. He said their goal is to turn Donbass into Somalia, where they would rule with the power of machine guns. And I will never allow that to happen on the territory of Ukraine. He has said that Ukrainian soldiers need no longer be naked, barefoot or hungry. He realizes that in their fixtures so far, Ukrainians have not won very much against the Russian-backed separatists, but the soldiers will from now on be better equipped, better supplied and given raises and life insurance. It's high stakes, because Putin has warned him against stepping up the military campaign. But from one perspective, with IMF-ordered austerity measures and increases in gas prices, due to cut his popularity as near offing, he really can't afford to lose control of any more of Ukraine.
With all this going on then, how has yesterday's presidential election been viewed there in Donetsk?
There wasn't a clear candidate that the East would have supported. None of the presidential candidates were from the East. There wasn't a local oligarch setting, as has happened as recently as with Yanukovych. Until the last minute, everyone with whom I spoke, with the exception of a few people who are very strong separatists, but the majority of people I interviewed wanted to vote. They perhaps weren't terribly concerned who they vote for. They might not even really have made up their mind that support for any particular candidate was not exceptionally strong. But they wanted to vote. They were slightly confused by the situation and slightly scared by what the security situation has become. There's a lot of lack of knowledge going on. People are glued to their Wi-Fi, to YouTube feeds, to Twitter. But in general, there's a sense that even though the town is nice and sunny,
Pádraig Belton in Donetsk, thank you so much for that.